What I'm about to expose will shatter everything you believed about The Summer I Turned Pretty on Prime Video and the actors behind your favorite characters. Behind every romantic Belly and Conrad moment that dominated your feed, behind every emotional Jenny Han interview that had millions sobbing, and behind every single The Summer I Turned Pretty cast interview from seasons 1 and 2 that you watched obsessively, there's been a conflict so intense that Amazon Prime Video themselves had to step in with actual legal threats. We're talking about a wedding where literally nobody from the cast showed up, social media discoveries that sparked massive controversy, and fan behavior that spiraled so far out of control that a billion-dollar streaming platform had to issue warnings about harassment and bullying. The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 gave us closure on Belly's choice between the Fisher brothers, but the real-life drama behind the scenes makes that love triangle look simple. Lola Tung's increasingly tense interview moments, the Prime Video full episode behind-the-scenes content you loved, and that seemingly perfect cast chemistry everyone praised has become way more complicated than anyone imagined. If you want the complete truth about how personal beliefs in politics tore apart one of television's most popular young casts, keep watching because this situation is wilder than any plot twist Jenny Han could have written. Listen, if you're about to watch me unpack this entire mess without subscribing, that's basically the emotional equivalent of choosing neither Conrad nor Jeremiah. Hit that subscribe button so I know someone appreciates the investigative journalism I'm doing into why actors who kiss on screen can't stand each other in real life. When The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered on Amazon Prime Video back in June 2022, nobody could have predicted it would become the cultural obsession it turned into. This wasn't just another teen romance adaptation of Jenny Han's beloved trilogy. It became a legitimate phenomenon that completely took over social media every summer since it dropped. The series didn't just attract viewers, it created devoted armies of fans who lived and breathed every detail of Belly's emotional journey between Conrad and Jeremiah Fisher. The intensity was unlike anything we'd seen since the Twilight era. Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah battles raged across every social platform imaginable. Fans obsessively analyzed every glance between Lola Tung and Christopher Briney, dissected every interaction between Lola and Gavin with forensic precision, and turned completely innocent cast interview moments into evidence for their shipping theories. But the obsession didn't stop at the fictional love triangle. Fans became fixated on the real-life relationships, personal beliefs, and private opinions of the actors themselves. Lola Tung, Christopher Briney, and Gavin weren't just playing beloved characters anymore. They became the faces of one of the biggest teen drama sensations in streaming history. The show's success was astronomical. Season 1 shattered viewing records for Amazon Prime Video, and by the time Season 2 dropped with massive anticipation, these young actors couldn't walk anywhere without being mobbed. Social media followers exploded into the millions overnight. Magazine covers, brand partnerships, award nominations. This was career-launching, life-changing success. But that level of fame comes with crushing pressure that most people can't comprehend. And apparently, it also exposed some uncomfortable truths about who these people really are when the cameras stop rolling, revealing differences that would tear this cast apart in the most public way imaginable. The first major sign that something was seriously wrong came from an unprecedented move by Amazon Prime themselves. The streaming giant felt compelled to issue a public warning to fans about their increasingly toxic behavior. They stated they have a zero-tolerance policy for bullying and hate speech, adding that if fans engage in harassment, targeting their cast or crew, or doxing members, they would face immediate consequences. Think about that for a moment. When has a major streaming platform ever had to threaten to ban viewers over discussions about a teen romance show? This wasn't normal fan enthusiasm. This was something darker and more dangerous than anyone anticipated. Industry reports revealed that both Christopher Briney and Gavin had been receiving hate comments and online harassment. Behind the scenes, sources shared disturbing details about why Amazon stepped in so aggressively. People connected to the production revealed the entire cast had been receiving an unusual amount of targeted harassment.
But this wasn't coming from random trolls or anonymous accounts. The harassment was coming directly from different factions within their own fan base, and it was getting intensely personal, deeply political, and genuinely threatening. Fans had started connecting dots between the actors' real-life political views and their on-screen chemistry, and the results were explosive in the worst way.
The reason for all the tension finally started making sense when dedicated fans dug deeper into Gavin Castellano's social media activity and discovered something that would change everything. According to fan investigations, they uncovered an extensive pattern of online behavior that contradicted the core values of a show created by a progressive woman starring a strong female protagonist and beloved by a predominantly young, socially conscious fan base. The controversy exploded when fans discovered Gavin had liked posts celebrating women who reject feminism and embrace traditional roles. This wasn't some random, accidental double tap. This was content from accounts specifically promoting traditional gender roles and conservative values. To fans of a show literally about female empowerment and a young woman choosing her own path regardless of societal expectations, this felt like a betrayal.
But that was just the beginning. More research revealed Gavin was following and engaging with controversial figures and content that seemed completely at odds with his co-stars' public positions. Fans discovered he'd been liking posts by conservative media personalities known for their opposition to progressive policies. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Each new discovery felt like confirmation that Gavin's personal beliefs were fundamentally at odds with everything the Summer I Turned Pretty supposedly represented. When you contrast this with his co-star's online presence, the divide becomes stark. Christopher Briney's Instagram consistently shows support for progressive environmental causes and social justice issues. Lola Tung regularly shares content supporting women's reproductive rights and equality movements. Their online activity perfectly aligns with typical Gen Z liberal values and the inclusive messaging that made the show popular with its target demographic.
And then there was Gavin, apparently supporting ideas and political positions completely opposed to his co-star's public stances. When the backlash gained momentum, Gavin attempted damage control that made things worse. He claimed someone else had unauthorized access to his accounts and was liking posts without his knowledge. He insisted he didn't even have Instagram installed on his phone most days. But his explanation fell flat for obvious reasons. First, the pattern was too consistent and aligned with a particular worldview to be random unauthorized access. Second, this wasn't one or two random likes. This was an extensive history spanning significant time. And third, his explanation only came after he got caught, not as a proactive security concern. The timing made it seem like calculated damage control rather than legitimate worry about account security.
The moment that really exposed how fractured this cast had become should have been a joyous celebration. Gavin Castellano married Cheyenne King in November 2024, which should have been a beautiful occasion celebrated by his co-workers who had become like family during intense filming schedules. Instead, it became the smoking gun that proved these actors couldn't tolerate spending personal time together outside contractual obligations. Not a single cast member attended Gavin's wedding ceremony. Not Christopher Briney, who plays his on-screen rival Conrad Fisher. Not Lola Tung, who shared intimate romantic scenes with him as Belly. Not Sean Kaufman, who plays Steven, Belly's brother. Not even Jenny Han herself, the creator and executive producer who launched all their careers and made them household names. Now, actors missing a colleague's wedding isn't automatically scandalous. People have scheduling conflicts, previous commitments, family obligations. But when literally every single person from your work family, people you've spent months with, sharing emotional scenes and building what appeared to be genuine friendships, completely skips your wedding, it paints a troubling picture. The internet went wild with investigative analysis. They pulled up photos from other young adult show weddings where entire casts showed up enthusiastically.
The Outer Banks cast regularly celebrates each other's achievements with genuine enthusiasm. Stranger Things actors consistently show up for each other's important events. Even reality stars from Love Island typically rally around their co-stars' weddings with public support. But the Summer I Turned Pretty cast? Complete radio silence? No Instagram stories congratulating the couple? No behind-the-scenes photos from wedding events? No public acknowledgement whatsoever that this massive milestone had even occurred. It was like Gavin's wedding existed in a parallel universe that none of his co-stars inhabited or wanted to be associated with publicly.
The most telling moments came during questions about their friendships off-screen. In early interviews, all three leads enthusiastically shared stories about hanging out between takes, going to dinner together, and developing genuine friendships beyond work. By Season 3 promotional interviews, those same questions were met with vague responses, awkward pauses, and obvious deflection to safer topics about their characters. Industry professionals started sharing are skilled enough to maintain convincing professional relationships during press tours because their careers depend on it. The fact that the Summer I Turned Pretty cast couldn't even fake harmony convincingly suggested the underlying conflict was much deeper than typical workplace disagreements. The contrast became more obvious as fans started comparing their interviews to earlier seasons. The energy was completely different. The spontaneous moments, inside jokes, and genuine affection had evaporated. What remained was professional courtesy at best and obvious discomfort at worst. Fans who had fallen in love with their chemistry were now watching that same chemistry crumble in real time during what should have been celebration of their show's success. The situation reached another level when fans started analyzing the cast's individual social media accounts and discovered they had essentially stopped interacting with each other online entirely. No more friendly comments on each other's posts, no shared behind-the-scenes content, no birthday wishes or congratulations for professional achievements. Their social media presence had become completely compartmentalized, as if they existed in separate universes rather than working on the same show together. The contrast with other popular teen drama casts became stark when fans made side-by-side comparisons. Shows like Outer Banks, Stranger Things, and even older series like Vampire Diaries maintained cast friendships and social media interactions, suggesting genuine affection and ongoing relationships even years after their shows ended. The Summer I Turned Pretty cast, meanwhile, seemed to be actively avoiding any public association with each other beyond contractual promotional obligations.
Fans noticed the unfollowing patterns, the lack of engagement, the complete absence of the casual interactions that used to flood their feeds. It was deliberate, it was obvious, and it confirmed what everyone had been suspecting. Whatever was happening behind the scenes had completely destroyed any semblance of friendship these actors might have had. The people who played characters deeply in love with each other couldn't even manage a polite comment on an Instagram post. This level of public disconnection was unprecedented for a cast that had so recently been promoting their show as one big, happy family. The shift was dramatic and impossible to ignore. Fans who had invested emotionally in not just the fictional relationships, but the real-life friendships were watching those bonds disintegrate in real time. And social media, the same platform that had helped build the show's massive success, was now exposing just how broken the cast dynamic had become.
The final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered amid all this controversy, and fans immediately began scrutinizing every scene for signs of behind-the-scenes tension affecting on-screen chemistry. Some viewers claimed they could detect differences in the energy between Lola Tung and Gavin Casalegno's romantic scenes, suggesting their real-life discomfort was bleeding into their performances as Belly and Jeremiah. Entertainment industry analysts started discussing how this level of publicized cast drama could affect the show's legacy and the actors' future career prospects. While controversy can sometimes generate publicity and boost viewership short-term, the deeply personal and political nature of this conflict created a more complex situation with potential lasting professional consequences for everyone involved.
The streaming numbers for the final season remained strong, suggesting the general viewing audience either wasn't aware of the behind-the-scenes drama or didn't care enough to stop watching. However, the passionate fan base that had made the show such a cultural phenomenon became increasingly divided, with different factions supporting different cast members and engaging in ongoing social media warfare that continued long after the series concluded. Amazon Prime Video's decision to issue public warnings about fan behavior highlighted how celebrity culture and political polarization have created an environment where even teen romance shows can become battlegrounds for ideological conflict. The fact that a streaming platform felt compelled to threaten legal action against viewers discussing a romantic drama demonstrates how quickly fan communities can spiral into genuinely harmful territory when political beliefs enter the conversation. The Summer I Turned Pretty cast drama also raised broader questions about how much audiences should know or care about the personal political beliefs of actors, particularly young performers, thrust into the spotlight without necessarily understanding how their private opinions might affect their public careers. The intense scrutiny of social media activity and the expectation that actors should align their personal views with the values of their fictional characters created pressure that many industry professionals argue is unrealistic and potentially harmful.
Looking back at the complete timeline, from the show's initial success to the current fractured state of cast relationships, it's clear The Summer I Turned Pretty became a cautionary tale about how quickly beloved entertainment can become complicated by real-world politics and personal conflicts. The series that was supposed to represent the magic of first love and summer romance instead became a symbol of how deeply divided society has become on fundamental issues.
Whether this level of political scrutiny in entertainment is healthy or sustainable remains an open question. But The Summer I Turned Pretty saga demonstrates these conflicts are likely to become increasingly common as social media continues to blur the lines between public and private life for celebrities. The show that was supposed to capture the innocence of teenage romance ended up revealing how complex and politically charged even seemingly apolitical entertainment has become in our current cultural moment. The final verdict might be that The Summer I Turned Pretty succeeded in ways its creators never intended. It didn't just tell a story about choosing between two different types of love. It forced audiences to confront their own values and decide what matters more: the art or the artist, the entertainment or the personal beliefs of those who create it. Based on how this controversy played out, it seems clear that, for many viewers, those personal beliefs mattered just as much as the on-screen chemistry that originally made them fall in love with these characters. So, there you have it, the complete, messy story of how a summer romance show became ground zero for a culture war. If you made it this far without subscribing, I'm genuinely impressed by your commitment to consuming content without engaging. Hit that subscribe button because I clearly have a gift for turning teen drama into investigative exposés, and someone needs to encourage this questionable life choice. The Summer I Turned Pretty might be over, but the questions it raised about celebrity, politics, and fan culture are just getting started.